Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today for this company visit. The company visit this month is a little more special. I guess I'm a little bit biased there for the company who is hosting, and it is because Red Pepper Software is the company I work for. So we were able to have Casey and Jenna presenting for us today, and we were able to convince them basically. So they're amazing people, and you guys will get to know them. You guys will get to know what Red Pepper does and why it has become a great company. And with that, if that is okay, I received some information for the BIOS, and I can introduce you, both of you, to get started. So let's get started with Casey Pettingill. And Casey Pettingill is the CEO of Red Pepper Software. He has worked in the software industry since the year 2000, where he graduated with a degree in Management Information Systems from BYU, from Brigham Young University, BYU. Casey founded Red Pepper Software in 2007 and is highly skilled in Microsoft SQL Server, SAS, and C++. And Casey is a passionate problem solver, entrepreneur, husband, and father. So thank you very much, Casey, for joining us today.
Thank you.
We also have Jenna. Jenna George is the president of Red Pepper Software. She joined the Red Pepper executive team in 2016, contributing her strength in strategic planning, team building, and networking. Jenna rounds out Red Pepper's leadership team by adding a people focus to our fast-growing technology company. In particular, Jenna has built strong connections with local tech giants like Qualtrics. Jenna is a skilled entrepreneur, wife, and mother of four. So with that said, we're looking forward to hear from both of you. The time is yours.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan. I do have some slides, so I'll go ahead and present those now if someone can enable my screen sharing.
That sounds good. Let me know if that works for you.
Okay, it does appear to be working. Thank you.
Awesome.
I'll get it started, and I think Jen and I are going to be pretty casual about this as we trade back and forth and just talk about our company. I appreciate the bio. I think for me, the most important piece of that is my role as husband and father. I have 5 children, and I work every day for them, and it's a delight. Thankfully, also I have a very supportive wife, and in 2007, I did start Red Pepper Software, and someone in a job interview I did last week actually asked me how I started the company, and the answer I gave was I quit my job. And then of course you do the proper state filings and get the documents so you're legit. And that is how I started it. We started it at Red Pepper Software as a consultancy, doing custom software development. We build custom software. When we started in 2007, I had clients such as the Bureau of National Affairs and Managed Care Concepts and Trajectory Healthcare. We found ourselves in a lot of healthcare spaces, and we, in the healthcare space, working for a lot of healthcare companies, building custom solutions, custom integrations, and full-blown custom software. We've built a lot of things over the years, and I brought a lot of that ability from my experience at Walmart headquarters. I worked for them for a number of years, building out their merchandising systems, and then I worked for a local consultancy as well. But it took a number of years and for me to get this launched and taken off. But that's who we are and a little bit of our background. It says there on the screen that we use technology to simplify complex business problems. But if we go to this next slide, you can see what our purpose statement is. Do we make people's lives measurably, or make people's life experiences measurably better through the responsible application of technology? And I want to give an example of that. And so I'm going to ask Jenna, you can see a picture of a student here. I want her to talk a little bit about what we've done with Qualtrics in the education space in COVID last year, how many schools we did work for and helped them to be able to handle the difficult situation of COVID and such. I know we've done a ton of work there.
Thanks. So we do partner closely with Qualtrics, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But during a big part of our success in our business has been able to be flexible to help people with the challenges that their organizations and their businesses are facing, and be flexible to move to what is become priority. And during the COVID pandemic, the symptom tracking and contact tracing became the #1 most critical priority for those who are in education, and both higher ed and K-12 education. And so we made some strong pivots to be able to support people to implement and set up symptom tracking and contact tracing so that students could still attend school and they could keep the schools open as long as possible, or getting people back to school. And so we helped more than 1.2 million students be able to return to school. We helped across schools across 28 states in the United States to be able to implement this and make this happen. And so because of that, we're really proud that we were able to pivot and make that happen to get these kids back in school. So that was a fun experience for us.
Thanks for sharing that. I just wanted to illustrate how we strive to live our purpose, and that's one example. Obviously, we build custom software from the ground up. We also build a lot of integrations for software, and we implement software. So what's the story behind our name? We get asked that quite a bit. Why Red Pepper Software? Where did that come up with? The honest story is that we weren't always called Red Pepper Software. We used to have a name, Deep Clarity Solutions, back when I founded it with a couple partners. Those partners left the company and I bought them out, and I didn't ever like that name. And so jokingly, I picked up a packet of crushed red pepper and said, like, teasing somebody about how they came up with company names. I said, it's like they just picked something up and spit it out. And I said, like, Red Pepper Software. And I said, oh, I actually really like that idea, or that name. And so I went and checked the domain and it was available. I didn't realize that there was a company in the 90s named Red Pepper Software as well that was purchased by PeopleSoft and is long gone. But that's come up over the years a few times too, that there was a big company that Chet, maybe you ran into in Silicon Slopes in your past life, but we're not that Red Pepper. But there is an interesting element to it that Jenna has pointed out many times, and that is that Red Pepper it's not a main course, right? It's a condiment. It's something that adds flavor to what you're doing, and we really find ourselves as a consultancy helping businesses in that way. We're helping them to leverage the technology they already have in many cases. We're adding the spice to their business. Many times we are building mission critical software, but that's not the majority of what we're doing. The majority of what we're doing is helping businesses to take what they already have and enhancing it through really optimizing their take, for instance, their supply chain or their operations, and we're helping them to build solutions in that regard. And then with our Qualtrics relationship, we really are coming in and helping them get launched on that platform. So this is a fun slide that we like, that is just kind of cute. This I think it's two different ladies, but you're going from that to that by adding Red Pepper. Here's kind of a quick company history. It's pretty basic here, but we founded in 2007. We're pretty well known along the Wasatch Front by 2014. I think Jenna joined us in, what was it, 2015 or 2016, Jenna?
Yeah.
And with Jenna's help, I'm really a technologist, but by partnering with Jenna, we've been able to grow it substantially because of her business development skills and network skills and such. And so with her growth, we actually grew the development team to about a team of 40, 45, approaching 50 almost exclusively developers. So a large percentage of that was development. That was a big consultancy. And then we kind of pivoted from there. We joined the Qualtrics network, and we saw that as an opportunity. With custom development, there are a lot of ebbs and flows in that work. It's an eat what you kill type of a business, and it has its own challenges in both on the growth side and managing that many developers working on various and diverse projects, where we weren't really a staff augmentation company. We were project managing all these software projects, doing the discovery, managing the projects, fulfilling the work. And that's a big deal. And that's a lot of work there. But we pivoted intentionally and joined the Qualtrics Partner Network, thinking that would glean us development.
Yeah, no, I'll send it right now.
Alan, I think you need to go on mute. There we go. Anyway, we expanded that partnership we continued to expand it in 2020, and we actually started doing implementation work as well, which we'll talk more about. And here we are in 2021. So this is a picture of our headquarters and some of our marketing material. We're based in Pleasant Grove. I actually believe that's Jenna's vehicle, if I'm not mistaken, the Armada here. So I thought that was kind of interesting that her vehicle.
That was funny.
Sure. So what's the recipe behind our success and our growth? Why would you want to work with Red Pepper? Well, we have a lot of technology experts. We have over 14 years of doing this. We let our clients own the code. A lot of MSAs with custom shops. The custom shops own the codes and owns the code wholesale and licenses it out. I don't think anyone building custom software, full-blown products, wants someone else to own the rights to that. They're hiring us to build software that's giving them a competitive advantage in the marketplace. And in our custom software builds like that, we come out up front and say, hey, it's obvious you'll want to own the code in this contract, and we make that easy. And then we offer support contracts, and we strive to be transparent and honest in all that we do. This slide's cool. It has a picture of one of the slot canyons from Utah, which are a lot of fun. We work in teams here. We have development teams. We always strive to find business value in the solutions we're creating and make sure that they're providing value. We get a lot of people come to us and say, hey, can you help us build this business concept? I want to start a new business. And in those cases, we really look at it with a critical eye and help. We've done this so many times. We can help them look at the business objectives of their potential business opportunity and help them think through it, and whether we're a good fit or not, and whether they should go lighter weight and try to get a technical co-founding partner or something like that, rather than coming and working with an agency like us. But for established businesses and otherwise, we're always making sure and want to be certain that the software that we build and the solutions we build have value.
I would say that is key to our approach at Red Pepper, is that we always start with the end in mind. When we approach implementation, when we approach an engineering project from all sides, oftentimes people will just send us a paragraph in an email that says, hey, I have a client who needs to do this. How much would it cost? And then we'll ask, why do they need to do that? What are they trying to accomplish? Because that's how we get to the correct answer of what someone's trying to do. So I'd say it's definitely a key approach and a strength of Red Pepper to be able to say, let's actually talk about what you're hoping to see by doing this, and then let's go from there. So we really strive to help people to discern what should be your MVP or your minimum viable product, and where should you start, and let's make sure you do things in the proper sequence. So sorry, Casey, just to add to.
You don't have to apologize. I welcome it. And I think this last bullet point, the communication one, is probably the most critical piece of our business. We're taking people's ideas, and sometimes these ideas are so raw And we're taking them and we're distilling them down into software. And people ask me how much something costs, and the first time they tell me about their idea, like how much would it cost to produce that? Being a technologist, I know that that's not something that I can just tell them like how much something costs when they've explained a 40,000 foot view of their idea. And so we really have to work through this communication process to distill that down to something that someone can actually code and turn into the bytes that the computer displays on the screen. And then all along the development process, communication is key, because we may think we understand what they want once we've even estimated it, but we don't. And we'll build it and we'll iterate through a standard Scrum process or agile processes. And our project managers, we've learned, are critical to the success of the project. And so we require regular communication with our clients from our project managers, that they're constantly letting them know where we stand in budget, where we stand on development. And that I would say has been the key to us going from a very young, immature consultancy to where we are today, to where we're an established consultancy in the software development space. This is a slide we took out of a pitch to one of our clients, but why would someone want to build custom software? There's tons of off-the-shelf software. There are a number of reasons why you would want to. There are a number of reasons why you would not want to. If there's a good established software off the shelf that works really well, I don't suggest to people that they build it, even though I'm possibly foregoing a contract. It's not good business practice, and it's not necessarily the right solution. But sometimes the software licensing becomes expensive. If it's based on a user basis, you can get an ROI off a less fully featured thing that you build yourself. And we actually believe in that ourselves, and have built some internal software after evaluating off the shelf stuff, where since we're really good at this, we felt like we could get a return on our investment there. Obviously, the ownership can add value to a company, especially if you're looking for an exit. If you own your own software and have your own IP, that can add value. And we always, we have helped some companies even go so far as to build an in-house team after we got the initial product launch. Some more benefits of custom software. You can control the security, you can scale it yourself. You're not as big of a target as the SaaS platforms. Here's our development process that Jenna spoke to a little bit. We will often go through the discovery and demo process where we're building out wireframes, and we're working with the client to build that blueprint of the custom software. And we're always pushing them to what we call minimum viable product. And I won't assume everybody knows what that means, but it's pretty self-explanatory. You don't want to build more software than you need to get the return that you want. And we believe this process, not just in building SaaS software, which is where this concept's extremely popular, but even in building your own internal software for solving your business processes that you will own. You'll find that you can really overshoot the build and think that you need more than you do to get the product launched. We believe in launching as quickly as possible. And then there's obviously the support and iterative phase. Now I'm going to transition, and we'll talk a little bit about the core of who we are, our core values. And Jenna, you can chime in here and speak to any one of these. I know Jen and I are both very passionate about these. And this is really what makes, the culture is what makes a company more than like what you do almost. It's more how you do it and who you do it with. And that's important to us in our values. And we used to have like 10 values that meant, there were so many that they meant nothing to us. Jenna and I spent a lot of time narrowing these down to what we felt we exemplify the most and what makes us special. And ownership, working with grit, and being professional. Obviously, as a services industry, professionalism is just absolutely critical. But we'll start with Own It. Jenna, do you want to speak to these at all?
Sure.
Okay.
So any employee that works at Red Pepper, Jonathan can confirm, knows these values by heart. We talk about them regularly. They're part of every Friday. At our office, we have lunch and learn every Friday, and different people, everyone on the team has an opportunity and to teach at some point throughout the year. And all of our lunch and learns are founded on at least one of these values that are core to our company. So when we talk about ownership at Red Pepper, that really does mean we fulfill all the commitments that we make to our clients and to each other, and that we execute on the responsibilities that are ours. We have a phrase, so all of our values have a poster. We probably should have put those on here so I could speak to them. But the poster for We Own It in our office is a hand with a white glove on it, a working white glove, not a fancy one. And they're picking up the garbage off of the beach, because we have a phrase around here that we say, everyone takes out the garbage. And that simply means that nothing is beneath you, nothing is above you. Like, we're here to collaborate together to execute on what we said we were going to do here at Red Pepper. So we train our staff to not think that this is a hard task, so I'm going to go find someone else to do it because I'm scared of the task, right? We're like, you dive in, you try to tackle the task, and then when you do need additional support, you reach out to the team. But in the end, you own it. We're going to deliver it. Everything that leaves this door has the Red Pepper name on it. So that's what ownership means to us, is that we do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. And so feeling that deep ownership. Our next one is that we work with grit. And I don't know how many of you have read Angela Duckworth's book about grit. I'm a huge fan of her book. And we have worked with her because of the virtue of our relationship with Qualtrics and her company. But the idea in her book is that, well, we all know grit means tenacity, right? In the English language, if we were to find a synonym, it's tenacity, right? But in her book, she defines grit as a perseverance towards a long-term goal. And the poster that we associate with this at our office is a bunch of kayaks in an ocean trying to go work their way around an iceberg. And certainly within Red Pepper, as we've grown this company from nothing, from a few people in a basement to what it is today, we have had to work with grit. And that means that we have always had an idea of what the shore is for us, right? What the end goal is. However, there is inevitably icebergs along the way, right? We've had to take several detours as we have come to define more fully what Red Pepper is, who we are, and what we do, right? And so we've taken those detours, we work with these detours, but the shore is also different for each person on our team. Casey and I, as owners of Red Pepper, have a different shore and a different goal than maybe each individual employee within our organization. We have a shoreline for what does it look like to grow this business into, and what ultimately is the exit inside of Red Pepper, right? Where we have our employees who could look at each individual project that they work on. Jonathan would look at each individual project as a shoreline, right? I have got to get these people set up and running, and this piece of software operational in their business. And so he looks at each individual project as a shoreline, right? And inevitably, there are bumps and different things to work around as you work with every individual client, right, Jonathan? So we have to work around those icebergs. We have to keep going. We have to be solution-minded and find the answers to get where we're going. And so that is something that when you have a consultancy like ours, where our job day in and day out is to solve business problems, we have to accept and enjoy those bumps and those detours along the way. So that's what it means to work with grit.
And I would just add, Jen and I strive to exemplify this as well. This is not a lifestyle business for us.
Yeah.
We are here day in, day out working to move this company forward.
Yeah. So our last one is we are professional. So that is in all that we do. It's the way that we communicate with our clients. It's the way to how we present ourselves. It is how we respond when a client may be frustrated or escalated, or and it means ultimately, to me, professionalism comes down to trust. right? Casey and I do not take it lightly when someone signs a contract to say that they are choosing to have Red Pepper do their work. And so when, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't go around signing contracts because I just have free money to give and throw at any other organization. So I don't take it lightly when someone's going to exchange money to Red Pepper for services to be provided. And so professionalism really comes down to trust. That again, that we do what we say we're going to do, when we say we're going to do it, within the timing, within the scope, within the budget of what we said we were going to do. So we try to, but that requires trust on everybody's part. It requires trust on Casey's part, on my part, to then turn it over to someone on another team within our company and say, deliver on this, right? I gave my word. I gave my word when I sold this contract. So now I'm trusting you, my colleague, to deliver to what I said, right? And keep me honest. And so that is how we view professionalism in all that we do, and also in our expertise. We are definitely an environment of continual learning. So anyone who wants to work with Red Pepper, you have got to love learning, because we are not satisfied with what we know today. We want to be more expert in all that we do. So that's why we have these lunch and learns. That's why we invest hundreds of dollars into our employees' own personal development every year, to say if there's something that they really feel like they need more training on or more learning on, or something that they're interested in, we have set aside funds for them to be able to do that, so that they can continue to learn and improve on their skills. So the expertise ties into professionalism as well. So those are the values, and they would have to align with anyone who came to work here. We're very protective of our culture. And so when we bring someone on, we make sure we go through these in depth to make sure that it aligns with that individual who we're considering. So
yeah, thank you, Jenna, for covering those. I know you're passionate about them. We both are, and we've worked hard to create a team that exemplifies those values. And speaking of our teams, we have this picture of a rocket launch, which is fun, but it's meant to represent our different teams that are taking us into orbit here. Our engineering team, our Qualtrics implementation team, other partners, and our staff augmentation. And Jen and I have really focused on not going outside of this, right? As we grow the company, we're adding fuel to these engines. Our engineering team is building software is not easy, and building it well is not easy. So we strive to build a solid team here, but that understands principles of software development. We strive to bring on developers who have a mind for consultancy, for professionalism, who can communicate with clients, who can take complex problems and turn them into solutions. So a true consultancy approach in that regard. We traditionally haven't used offshore developers. We've traditionally been onshore, but more recently we have started going offshore. It's just such a difficult environment here in the US right now to hire under any circumstances. But then you take development and how it's always been hard to hire developers, and it's just this perfect storm of hiring. And so we have gone offshore recently, and we've found ways to be successful with that as well with our software development. Qualtrics is a partnership that has become big for us recently. I credit Jenna with really opening the door there. I had a few contracts back in 2016, or a few leads rather, in the Qualtrics. They'd come to me and said, hey, can you do custom development for us for some of our clients? And I said, absolutely. And they started sending me all these things they wanted me to scope. I scoped them and never heard back, and was too busy doing all the things that I was doing to chase them. And Jenna said, why don't you let me take those? And she, having a great understanding of follow through on business development, took those and really expanded her network and opened the door there, and has really taken that relationship forward to the point where, if you look on this slide on the bottom left, you'll see that's Ryan Smith on the stage at their big conference, and he's talking about opening up the partnership. What year was this, Jenna, that this happened? Was that 2018?
Yeah, it was made public in 2017. Well, we started in 2017, I guess. Maybe 2018.
Okay, in one of those years,
March of 2018, I feel like.
we had been working with Qualtrics for a number of years already, kind of incognito. We couldn't speak to it. We had a contract that said we're under NDA and we can't even let people know that we're doing a lot of work for them. We had many of our staff working on their professional services team, but then they came out with the partner program, went public, and our name was among many others there on the screen, a partnership that we're proud of. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of trust and a lot of commitment to attain a partnership like this. And Jenna really helped us establish that and has been a driving force for that since the beginning. And of those names on the board, like only 3 of them to this day are solid delivery partners for Qualtrics, and we're proud to be one of them. And a key, we consider ourselves, and I think Qualtrics would as well, a key partner to them for delivering Qualtrics implementations. And that's why Jonathan has a job with us as well. He's one of our Qualtrics implementers. So we're very grateful to have Jonathan in that capacity. Jen, I know we could talk at length about this. Is there anything you would want to say about the Qualtrics team? I have a few more slides here to talk about our methodology there. But
maybe a little bit about what the relationship is and what it means to be a delivery partner. So what happens is that Qualtrics, so they call the big 3. There's 3 of us that are considered the big delivery partners to Qualtrics. So when we did launch with them, they asked us, they were trying to form a partner network, really in preparation for an IPO. And then, as you likely all know, of course, they ended up having a private sale to SAP, which was remarkable. And now they're back to an IPO. So, but years ago, in preparation to work towards an IPO, they decided they needed a partner ecosystem. And so we were working with them quietly and on the engineering side. And they were growing really quickly and having a hard time onboarding people to their software as fast as they were selling it. And so they had started in the works putting this, they brought people over from other very large tech companies to help them establish a partner network. And they asked us to be a launch partner with them, which is this slide that you see. So this was a big day for us when Ryan Smith took the stage to announce their official partner network at their Expert Summit. And it was an exciting day for us. So what it means to be a delivery partner is that as Qualtrics, they asked us to then become an implementation partner as well, I should clarify. So now we were doing engineering and we said, okay, we'll give this implementation thing a try. Implementation means that we actually configure, train, set up Qualtrics within other people's organizations. So oftentimes we're not writing any code, we're just teaching them how to use the software, how it's configured, and sometimes configuring it for them. So we were able to help Qualtrics to speed up the onboarding process. So when Qualtrics signs a client, they then turn the contract over to us. Oftentimes we help them in the scoping, in the sales part, because we're clearly more expert at using the software than their sales team is, obviously, because we're in it day in and day out. So we bring that strength in their sales process where we join them and say, this is how you can accomplish what you're trying to do. So again, beginning with the end in mind. So to be a delivery partner, then they turn the contract over to us. And so once they're signed, they become ours. So no pressure, right? Because you know that Qualtrics is an experience management company. That is their platform. Their platform is to help people improve their customer experience, their employee experience, their brand experience, and their product experience. So they have those 4 pillars. And so, but the tough part is the delivery partners, we really are the experience that people have with Qualtrics. So that's something that we've owned, and we've really we have to do good work, because if people are going to have a good experience with Qualtrics, who professes to be the master of experience, we've got to do a good job. So they turn that over to us, and then it comes through to one of our consultants, and they then own that customer from start to finish. And we have got to work with really fun organizations because of this. I wish I could tell you all the names, but I'd have to go through and look at my list of which ones I'm allowed to tell you, so I won't share them here. But we've done everything from airlines to professional sports to education to healthcare. So it's also, Red Pepper is a very fun place to work if you like variety, because we work with a wide variety of clients. And so we follow most typically the train the trainer approach. Oh, sorry, I'm off slide. I'm not paying attention.
No, you're fine. I'm just dancing around for you here.
So what that means is they don't have bandwidth, and we end up going in and really just augmenting their team and being their resource to set up Qualtrics. But for most clients, they are very interested in being able to, they want to be able to use Qualtrics going forward for other use cases and be able to do it independently without needing the support of a team like ours. So we follow a train the trainer, which for us looks like we take their use case for what they want to use Qualtrics for. So let's say maybe what they want to do is to improve their employee experience. And so they want to do, 30, 60, 90-day reviews, whatever that might be. And so we then train their team taking that use case. We set it up with them over screen share, right? And we train them on how you would configure this and set it up. And this is how you're going to distribute this to your employees. And this is how you're going to collect the data. Do you want to view it in reports? Do you want to view it in dashboards? What does that look like? And we help them in back and forth screens. So on a screen share, we actually have working sessions with them where we set this up and train them. So that is kind of the process that we follow. We also have ongoing support. So once they are done, then we determine together, are they ready to fly on their own? Or do they feel like they want a little more support from us? Do they feel like they want us to be there for them ongoing? So ideally for us, right, we love that those who want to stay with us in an ongoing fashion, and we retain that client for years and years and years. But it also feels good to know that inside of Qualtrics, we are the partner that has the highest metric of customers saying they feel completely ready to own their Qualtrics license on their own going forward. And that feels good. It speaks so highly of our consultants and how well they understand the platform and train on the platform so that people feel that way. So that's something that I really appreciate about our consultants. So shout out to you, Jonathan, for the good work you do there. So when we go out to train, we have a few audiences. And when we go out to educate the salespeople at Qualtrics on what Red Pepper, how Red Pepper can help their clients that they're bringing in, these are some words that we use. It's a quick and easy way for them to refer to this, to say, okay, this client said something about Salesforce. Okay, we have to be clever in our marketing here at Red Pepper because we're marketing to Qualtrics itself so that the sales team at Qualtrics will know how to and when to engage us. And then we're also marketing to our clients apart from that. So a fun marketing team that has to have two completely different ways of thinking in their approach to marketing here at Red Pepper. So we have a lot of exciting opportunities in our marketing and sales team as well. So, all right, I could talk about Qualtrics forever. I'm passionate about it, so go ahead.
Thank you, Jenna, for your work on Qualtrics. She's really launching our business.
Maybe I will say just one more thing about what we've learned, Casey and I, as we built this business, is that when, as Casey said, it's very difficult, the ebbs and flows of being a software consultancy, right? Because the answer is any client who needs anything, the answer was yes. Yeah, we can do that. Yes, we can do that because we're custom. So we build whatever it is you need. But going out to market that is really, really challenging because you can be everything and anything to anybody. There's not.
Yeah, I would go to you. Jenna used to work at a marketing company, like a networking events company, and I was a member, and that's where I met Jenna. but I'd sit at the table and everybody would ask me, well, what kind of companies do you try and get into? And I said, all of them, because I can build anything for anyone. But that's a really poor marketing, like that doesn't connect with people. And so I've had to learn that. And Jen, I'll let you finish your thought now. I just wanted to express that, like, even when I first connected with you, like that was one of the challenges that I faced before I brought you on to help me.
Yeah, I'm guessing many of you on the call have a little bit of an entrepreneurial bone in your body. And it is like, we think oftentimes we get a little bit stuck in thinking that, well, I want all the contracts, I can be all the things. I have like a huge audience because I can do all the things. And so we fell into that a little bit. But what really has just rocketed our company is actually just drilling down and down and down into who we are and owning a deep expertise and a niche, right? So while we still do custom software development and we have clients that we've had for years and years and years and years, and we still do their work, as we have really drilled down and become so expert at Qualtrics and so expert at experience management and the software and the coding that's necessary to help people succeed with that, it actually has really rocketed our business. So that would maybe be some advice that I would give to you as you, if any of you are acting on that entrepreneurial desires that you have, is to say that we have found that to be true. I think we knew that, but it's a little bit scary to accept it, right? To say, oh, we're really narrowing our market, we're really narrowing our focus. Are we going to lose lots of our opportunity? And we have found that that has absolutely just been the best thing for us. So,
yeah,
okay,
it is scary to narrow. It's also like challenging to narrow, because where do you begin narrowing in such a broad field? We're going to show a few client success stories now that we've talked about narrowing Qualtrics that aren't related to Qualtrics per se, and then we'll show some of the Qualtrics ones as well. Sundance Bay is a company that we went very much from an Excelware to a web-based software we built for them, just to conceptualize everything I've been blabbing about during this call, right? A little bit. We actually do and traditionally have ended up turning like complex spreadsheets with macros into functional software that just makes a world of difference. AutoSavvy used to be called AutoSource. They're a local success story. We've been with them for many years, built much of their software in the supply chain business. They have a mobile app that they use to inspect all of the salvage title or rebuilt titled vehicles that they resell. They go through a very thorough inspection process to ensure those vehicles are well built. We built this software. It's very complex. It does a lot of things and has streamlined their business and enabled them to scale. They're in, I don't even know how many states they're in now, but they're in a lot of places and continue to grow. Advanced Problem Solving is a company out of California, I think fellow BYU alum. They do a lot of training in fire departments and public service training systems, and we've taken their systems and built them out for many years. And then we kind of eat our own dog food here. We started out running this Qualtrics business is like kind of the first repeatable and process sizable, if that's a word, business that we've had, and it's helped us to establish processes and systems that we were managing all through Google Sheets. We got to the point where that was unmanageable, and we built our own software here. So this is actually a screenshot from our software that illustrates how we've been able to take those tools and turn them into software ourselves. We did research some other existing off-the-shelf stuff and ultimately felt like we were going to get the most value from building it ourselves. Here's a very, very small list of some of the clients we've been able to work with through our different relationships. I'm into cycling, so I love that Zwift is on here. I use Zwift. I love the platform. It's just kind of a fun slide that many of these we would never have been able to work with without a relationship with Qualtrics. And that list is 10 to 20 times the size of what we're showing there. This was just almost random, honestly. Here's a picture from one of our values posters, right? And behind every win is a team, and we really view ourselves for our clients as the pit crew, right? We're not the driver, we're not the stars, we're behind the scenes helping them make their businesses successful. That's the value that we add with everything we do. And then this is anyone who wants to connect with us, we're just heating up. So let's stay connected, and that's our company. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I would say maybe of interest to you, like, you know, as we set goals as owners of Red Pepper, we've had really, really aggressive growth goals. And so this year for 2021, it was a 33% growth. And we're talking in revenues. And we, in 2020, when COVID hit, we wondered what that meant for us, right? What is that going to do to the plans and the goals that we had set? And we were unsure, right? And so we had to make plans for the worst case scenario. And we did, you know, as leadership, we got together and we were like, what are the plans in case this doesn't work out? But what we were able to do is pivot, as I mentioned, and do the symptom tracking and contact tracing, and our business flourished because we were in a position to be able to help companies with the critical problem they were facing then. And as we've come into 2021, we find ourselves having a record-breaking quarter, as now we're helping everybody with vaccines, right? Vaccine tracking, vaccine mandates, depending on how it affects their different organizations. And so I would say another lesson learned as we're continuing to build our company, because certainly we haven't achieved all our goals, we're not where we want to be yet, but we've been able to stay on track to those goals because of this flexibility and this ability to pivot with what our clients need. So it has been exciting, and we have aggressive growth goals for 2022. So we are looking in 2022 for a 50% growth. And so it's aggressive. Red Pepper's been able to hit its goals year after year. And so we hope to achieve the same thing and plan to achieve the same thing in 2022. So if what we've said today is of interest to anyone you know, or aligns, if you thought of someone as you've listened to us that you're like, whoa, that sounds like a good fit for so-and-so, we'd love to talk to them, because we are aggressively growing. And so thanks for giving us an opportunity to share a little bit about ourselves.
And thank you for that, Jenna. And I would just bounce off that and say maybe something that wasn't represented in this slide is our staff and the people that we have. And I would just, it sounds trite, and I know every company says this, that it's our people that makes us successful, but it's absolutely true. You can't grow a company without trusted people who do their job. And as a services company, that's especially true. I can't succeed as the CEO without Jenna, and without Abish, our project manager, and without Preston, who manages the implementation team, and then all the way to our implementers, to Jonathan, and to our developers and our implementation specialists. Every one of them is extremely needed and helpful and critical to our being able to accomplish what we're doing. So
yeah, well said.
Anyway, that's it. And I think now we turn it back over to you, Jonathan. So
thank you very much, Casey and Jenna. Really appreciate your words and everything that you have presented. And I can second that, what they have presented. I live it basically every day here. So thank you very much. Appreciate that.
yeah.
With that, as we have been doing it, Chad, if it's okay if I can give the time to you for introductions and questions.
Sure. Thank you. So thank you, Casey, and thank you, Jenna. There are two main purposes for us having these company visits. One is to learn about the company, and the other is to network a little bit and learn a little bit about each other. So what we'd like to do for those people who are present here, we'd like to have you introduce yourself, tell us who you work for, what do you do there, and why did you come here today? And so I'll kind of start with that. So my name is Chet Harmer. I do volunteer work, but I've done volunteer work for a long time, but I used to do real work. That's what my wife calls work where you get paid for. But all of my career was in Silicon Valley. And so I had the opportunity to see Silicon Valley start and grow. And I worked for 12 different organizations. I've always had a connection with BYU, and that's how I got involved in the BYU Management Society. So my question is, Casey, when you were looking at different segments of your company, I was just taking some notes here. There's the consultant, the custom engineering part, kind of consulting. And then you talk about the Qualtrics part. I think there was maybe one or two other parts that I didn't get, or are those the two main parts?
We had on that rocket ship, I think that might be where you gathered that. We had two other pieces on there. One was staff augmentation. We do have staff augmentation as part of our business. It's not something that we actively market or strive to grow. It's a very lucrative business to do staff augmentation, but it's not who I am. It doesn't align with what I'm interested in. And I think anyone who's good at networking and you don't even have no technology to be able to do staff augmentation. But inevitably, by having a team like this, we come across those contracts and people ask if we'll be willing to do it. And we have done that. Central Utah Water Conservancy District is worth a call out here. We've got three people who've been over there for many years, who are our employees and have built their back-end systems that provide wholesale water to much of this area, right? I live in Lehi, and I know Lehi buys a lot of their water from Central Utah Water Conservancy District. They wholesale water to the municipalities. And again, that goes back to, like, I know I'm off the rails a little bit here, but it goes back to like making people's life experiences measurably better. And working for companies like Central Utah Water is the type of company we want to be working with. We want to be doing things that are important to the community, and so that's another piece of it. And then we have listed on there our partners. And what's meant by that is, like, we do work with other partners as well, like Qualtrics. We also work with Executech and IT Now. So these other companies who have complementary services to ours, and we end up helping each other out in many regards. We feed off each other from a business development standpoint and from being able to create a complete solution. Even within the Qualtrics space, I'll get a little technical here. There's this term called methodology in the customer experience space, which means I have a PhD. Someone who does methodology typically has a PhD, and they understand, like, the nuances of how to write a question and how to create a survey in a way that doesn't solicit bad data or that solicits the data you're looking for. We don't have on-staff methodologists. So we partner with a group called ALA, who has a team of PhDs who can, and working with them, we're much more formidable proposition, and it helps us cover areas that we haven't grown internally. Does that answer your question, Chet?
Yes. So one of the reasons I asked that question is, in the Management Society, we like to collaborate with local universities, and we always try to collaborate with BYU and their students and their alumni. Here we collaborate with UVU also and their alumni. So we're always looking at opportunities for employment in the future. So if you looked at those 4 different areas that were on your thruster engine, where would you say the most opportunity exists for people to get jobs with your firm in the future?
If they have, well, sometimes we do internships in the software development side. We have to have a careful balance there and not have too many junior developers, because you have to have a competent development team in a professional services environment. So right now I'd say we're kind of heavy on those entry level internships. In fact, we have 2 people who are BYU CS students right now who are part-time employees for us. So we like doing that because it's a place where we can give people opportunities. And we also get a hold of really bright people who can contribute in. They don't necessarily have the breadth or depth that we expect out of someone in professional services, but they definitely have problem solving skills and are intelligent and have a lot to contribute. And we love to bring those people up through our organization. So there are opportunities there from time to time. But the place where the most opportunity is right now is in our Qualtrics implementation. And if you have a penchant for technology, if you have if you are good with people and good at managing an organization, you'd make a great implementer, right? Because you're teaching people how to use software all day long, and you're interfacing with people, and you have to have that technical prowess to be able to demonstrate your ability, and sometimes on the fly. Like, people ask you stuff, right, Jonathan? What can a software do, or can you do this? And you have to, like, our best implementers are able to function in that capacity. But we have entry level positions there too, kind of these specialists. We train our implementers. We bring them up over a course of a few months before they're implementers, and we call them implementation specialists, where they're in a supporting role behind the scenes. They're expected to be managing the calendars of the implementers. They're expected to be learning the software by doing it. And that's where a lot of our growth is. We also have growth in kind of the administrative assistant positions. So for students who can come and really support in the logistics of a company, we have need in that capacity. Now, more broadly, we're looking for operations people. I wouldn't look for like a student for a position like what we're looking for there. We're also looking for an assistant controller position. So people who have a bit of experience in accounting and probably have an accounting degree and something under their belt, we're looking for positions there. But the core growth is in the Qualtrics implementation area. So, do you agree with that, or what would you add into that?
I think what I would add is that, and maybe this is more useful to Scott, I'm not sure, but when we have hired engineers, and probably more specifically from BYU, we have found that those who graduate in information systems actually have proven to be a little more useful to us at Red Pepper because they have a little bit more business background. Computer science is still good, but computer science is so strictly focused on just the aspect of the coding and like actually that development, where information systems, they kind of bring a little more business acumen to them. And so, Scott, maybe you're familiar with, there's a company in Colorado named Paraveda who recruits quite heavily from BYU. And we have brought people onto our staff from that company, and they are typically a very good fit. The audience that they look for is often the audience that we look for. Those very, very good consulting skills, work well with people. So they kind of work, and like he says, junior, or they're like, I'm really interested in this. It's a little bit harder for me to be an actual engineer. They usually are pretty strong on the implementation side if they have that. So there's a couple ideas for you of.
Good. It's very helpful. I know a little bit about Jonathan's background, and I know he had kind of a technical background, and he did what he's doing now in a previous employer, plus he just finished his MBA. So it sounds like a combination of technical skills and business skills would be helpful.
Yes.
You don't need an MBA by any stretch, but we're glad he has it.
So,
and he's a great asset to our team. But yeah.
good. So thank you. Because as you know, this is being recorded. We work with several people in Scott's department, and we just want to get the word out. So that's a little bit about me. So Scott, you're next on our list here. Tell us a little bit about your background and why you came today.
All right. I work in career services. I've been at BYU and I've been here 35 years, and I came because I always want to know who employers are, and so I was excited to come and learn about Red Pepper. And so yeah, we have people, Jenna, I can do all kinds of things. We could, if you wanted to, we could even do a targeted email to all of our alumni that work for Parveda. I mean, I don't know how many they are, but we could do things like that. We can be very, very skilled at, very just really drill down to specific things to try to push those things out. And Parveda would never even know about it. It's just an email going to alumni, and it's not like we're trying to take everything from them, but
For sure.
but we could, if you let me know you want me to do something like that, I can do it and do it very quickly.
Yeah, just
So-
don't send one of those to Red Pepper Software.
Yeah.
You're saying you don't want to lose anyone, you just want to gain people.
Correct.
Okay.
So we've often found that just when oftentimes BYU alum are looking to relocate back to Utah.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
so when that opportunity presents itself, I think it's a good option for, if I've been wanting to do that, here's an opportunity to look and check it out.
Yep. And in fact, that's really the reason why this can be effective, is because we could send it out geographically pretty broadly, and you'd be able to find people who are very, very much want to come back to Utah because they've been out there and they want to come back and do some things.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, Scott.
So I have just a couple of easy questions. So how many employees do you have?
We have about 35 on staff right now.
All right, because
Part-time.
LinkedIn says 29, so
Doesn't count contractors either.
Yeah, we
do
have a number of
a lot of
contractors, especially in the engineering space as we've gone offshore.
yeah, because you mentioned a 50-55 group.
We
Wow.
did grow to that size in the engineering. And then as we made the pivot to Qualtrics, we didn't have layoffs. It was just natural attrition. And we allowed it to happen as we focused on growing the Qualtrics and the engineering.
Yeah.
Explicitly going out and seeking engineering work, we intentionally slowed that down because the focus just made more sense.
Okay,
And I
so-
can tell you it was the right move. We're more profitable now than we were as strictly an engineering company.
all right, so that leads to my next question really nicely. What projected growth? I mean, you talked about aggressive growth as far as revenue, but what's your projected growth as far as number of employees? Are you just kind of feeling pretty good where you're at, or do you feel like you're going to grow a little bit, and that's where we can really help you here at BYU?
Yeah, we're about to embark on our end of year meeting here where we discuss all those elements, but I would just say conservatively, we need to double the size of the implementation team over the next year.
Yep.
Which is how many people?
Which is 15 about on that team. So we
Wow.
see that team needing to be about 30 on that. I mean, yeah, you ask, are we comfortable where we are? No, we are ready there's 10 positions we're ready to add to our team today.
And
Right.
with implementation, how technical a background do you need for implementation?
You know, you don't need to know how to code.
Yeah.
I'll say that. But if you're really good at Excel, meaning you understand how to go research, how to write your own functions, and you don't have to be doing VB macros or anything like that. But if you understand Excel really well, that's a good indication to me that you have the chops for coming in and solving the types of problems that we're doing in the Qualtrics environment. The platform, it has elements of connecting up to web services, external web services. Most of our implementers don't need to know those elements, but we're grateful when they do and when we can teach them those things. But you do have to create complex workflows, complex survey flows. You do have to have a hunger for learning. I'm not looking for people who are complacent in their skills and just want to keep doing that. We want people who want to grow in their career and who want to keep moving in that direction. So good with software, obviously, and very, very comfortable around that. And preferably you can, this may sound silly, but you can type, right? You've developed that skill, but surprisingly, I've got some people have gone through the cracks who don't know how to type, and it's surprising to me when that happens, because it slows you down. But anyway, those are the kinds of things we're looking for.
Well, great. Those are good answers. I appreciate meeting the two of you and look forward to any work we can do in the future. I look forward to helping you. So
Equally, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, Tom, you're next. So tell us a little bit about yourself. We get used to seeing Tom quite a bit, and I think I know why.
Thank you, Chet. So my name is Tom Halak, and I feel like I've been described very much in this meeting quite a bit. I am currently on faculty at Kansas State University, but I'm in the process of relocating back to Utah, bringing my family back there, where we have extended family and so forth. I am currently working as Associate Director in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communications, and my background is primarily in video production and visual communication. But as I'm making the transition out of higher education, I'm looking for opportunities for learning and development, and the position that you've been describing as an implementation team member sounds really inviting. I've done some work with creating surveys and so forth. So it sounds really comfortable, but I didn't necessarily come here today to beg for a job. So please don't feel like I'm doing that. But if you do have something, let's talk. I do have a question though, because as you've been talking, especially early on, you're telling me about what you're doing as far as software development. I'm sitting in my current position and I'm thinking, I've got all sorts of ways you guys could help my current department and my current institution. But I'm wondering from you, when you see a need for a company, but maybe that company doesn't recognize the need, or they aren't ready for pulling the trigger on something, how do you go about convincing them that they might need your services?
I think we would approach it from how other higher education groups are using it. And we certainly have a lot of experience with higher education groups. And in Kansas, we work with the state, right? As well as
Yeah, we do.
the public school system in Kansas.
Right.
So I think it would also come with that credibility as well. But I think our approach would be just to say, are you measuring these things today? Do they matter to you? How could you, would you like to measure them? And would you like these outcomes that come with measuring, right? And so I think that's the approach that we would take.
So universities, they like to not be left behind other universities.
Yeah.
So if you can demonstrate, hey, this is what everybody else is doing.
So let me ask, is your software primarily focused on things like gathering assessment data and other metrics like that? Or are you developing other types of survey or software as well?
As it pertains to Qualtrics, yes, right? We're gathering a lot more in regards to the assessment side of things, or how different departments are doing different things like that. But as far as the other side of our business, then all kinds of things, right? Sometimes we're taking systems that don't integrate together, integrating them together. Sometimes we're helping people to create data warehouses where they're pulling data from multiple systems into one hub, so that then they can visualize the data in its complete form, right? The reason with Qualtrics is so primarily the work that we do as Red Pepper has been focused on operational data or helping streamline business processes, organization processes. But when we added in Qualtrics, we've added in what's called X data, right? So not only are we taking now the operational data that businesses can collect, but now we're taking how people actually feel about you, your employees, your customers, those you associate with, and we're bringing it together to say now you're making data-driven decisions based on all of the information. So that's why we loved creating this partnership with Qualtrics. That was our goal. So the answer is both. The software side of our business does a lot more with operational data, and our Qualtrics side is much more experience data.
Okay. Yeah, one of my responsibilities in my current position is to schedule all of our classrooms and courses and instructors. And I've been seeking out, trying to find some software that will work for us. Because right now I'm literally using an Excel spreadsheet or a PDF document, and I'm pulling my hair out. And you can see that's not going very well for me.
We love projects like that. We have gone into many a place where they're working off of an Excel spreadsheet, our own business included, right? It's probably that's shocking to people sometimes. It's like, you guys were operating off an Excel spreadsheet, but it's the right thing at the time, right? Yeah. But as you grow and as you progress, you need more. And that's a good thing, right? A good place to be ready for something more. And so we'd love to come in and talk with anybody about changing your ways from an Excel spreadsheet to a more automated software solution.
I would love you to have that conversation with the powers that be.
Yeah.
That'd be great. And Tom, we would love to talk to you. So we can put you in touch and let you know what we have here. We'd love to have you consider Red Pepper. And I will tell you, one of our solutions architects, who are our more than expert implementation consultants, one of our very best is a graduated in journalism and communications.
Awesome.
That's
good to know.
So Tom, how can we help make that connection? Do you want to send me an email and I'll make sure that Jonathan gets you the information? Is that all right?
Yeah, I can do that. I've got my email address right there on the screen with my name. So, and that is a Q at the end.
Okay.
Not a G. Sometimes people mix that up. And if it's okay, I can also connect with each of you on LinkedIn if that works for you.
Absolutely. I'll have a hiring manager reach out to you as well and tell you everything that's available today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jenna and Casey.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Okay, Tom. Alan, you're the man. You need to unmute yourself.
Oh, I said, Chet, we need to be quick because we have another meeting, right?
I know. Alan and I have a meeting in 10 minutes. So.
Perfect.
My name is Alan Openshaw. I work at the Division of Continuing Ed. I'm their Continuous Quality Improvement Manager. I'm here at BYU as a safe harbor. And I've worked for 30 years as a consultant, as a Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt consultant. So this has kind of gotten me off the road and being in Central, South America, or Europe, or China, where I worked. I'm here today exclusively to see your capabilities and see what do you guys use Golang? Are you guys a C# house, or do you guys just do it all?
Yeah, we're more on the .NET, and then the front end we do React and Angular, and then mobile. So
Okay.
in the mobile side, we pretty much do it all, meaning native on both platforms, or we have some cross-platform capabilities as well. Strong on SQL Server databases and databases in general, and some experience with ETL, data warehousing, things like that.
Right, that underpins the data that gets stored. Or
there's always data in the software.
Yeah, no, there's always data, and most of the things I'm interested in from an entrepreneurial or invention part of things, there's always a software or an app that drives, or the interface that drives between the human and what you're doing. So
that's right.
Very interesting stuff. Just awesome. I still have another year in my master's program. I have no idea what the ROI is for me taking a master's at this point, but it keeps me off the streets. I think the biggest thing was just being able to network with other students. for startups, entrepreneurial things. I am working on a homeless housing project. I'm trying to get federal funding for, don't laugh, but these are homes that are built out of cardboard. It's a panel it's a composite layup of cellulose fiber and oriented, and there's a lot of stuff going on with that. I'm trying to do a center of excellence for that. I don't know that there's software for that project as much as there is for some of the other things I'm working on that are very definitely software driven. But hopefully we'll talk at a future time.
Great. Good to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Well, to me, this has been pretty exciting. I get the feeling I'm back in Silicon Valley, but instead, I guess I'm in Silicon Slopes, so it's kind of the same thing. In fact, we have a lot of people moving from Silicon Valley to Utah. So,
And we don't work all night here like they do in Silicon
I
Valley.
know. So thank you very much for letting us learn more about your company. I'm sure there's going to be follow-up from several of the people here, and that's part of what, and to make sure that we have good interaction between UVU people and BYU people and yourself. So with that,